Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today I'll be reviewing Outer Range, a new sci-fi western show coming to you from Amazon Prime. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? You know, I get the feeling that a lot of people are sleeping on the show Outer Range. Because it did not get much fanfare. Amazon, they sort of advertise it, but not too much. Which is, I think, somewhat unfortunate. Because I think, generally speaking, it's a very interesting little show. It's unfortunately also shorter than I was expecting. But they make up for the fact that it only has 8 episodes by having very long 8 episodes. I think each episode is, if not an hour, very near an hour. It all centers around Royal Abbott and the Abbott family. He's the patriarch of the Abbott family, where they work a cattle ranch. Up in I want to say it's Colorado, but Lord knows, up in where the deer and antelope play, and there's lots and lots of open land. And it seems pretty typical. One kid's a bull rider, the other one helps manage the ranch, and they got some problems because the oldest son's wife has disappeared, and he's got a daughter, and one of their neighbors is trying to legally steal part of their property, and that's all that's going on. And there's some weird hippie girl just sort of like hitchhiked into town, and she just kind of wanted to set up. Nothing weird or untoward. And it seems like a very much typical, home on the range sort of show. Josh Brolin playing the grizzled Royal Abbott, exactly as you would expect. I mean, he looks exactly and sounds exactly like you would expect for such a character. Lily Taylor playing his wife, and she seems like a farm wife and all that stuff. So, it seems fairly typical until at the very beginning, the older son takes offense to the drunken son of the neighbor who's trying to steal the pasture, and accidentally kills him. And the race to sort of cover it up is on at the same time as the man's brothers are looking around and sort of belligerently and all that stuff. And again, this could be a low rent Yellowstone or whatever at this point, but then sci-fi weirdness starts working its way in, and that's really sort of really where this all kind of jumps off, is like finding this weird hole in the middle of this pasture and not knowing where it's going. And it's, Royal throws the dead body into there, hoping or thinking they'll never see it again. And that's what it's an interesting enough part where you're like, what the heck, when is that where's that come from and everything. And then you see later, almost immediately after, the hippie girl Autumn pushes him into there. And that's the thing that hooks you into this, because there's an awful lot of stuff in this show where you're asking yourself, why is this happening? What is this weird stuff going on? It feels like you're watching an extended, I guess episode, or not, I want to say episode, but a season of X-Files in a way. Or maybe even Twin Peaks, because there's just, besides the fact that there's regular old drama between people going on, there is a murder investigation, whatever, there's still this hole that, seems to lead around, to, through space and time. And it becomes a bit of a battle of wills between Royal and Autumn about this hole, and then it becomes, uh, it becomes a problem because the neighbor, he wants the land. He wants, his name is Tillerson. He wants the land because he wants to have access to that. We presume the hole for religious or whatever, some kind of quasi-religious reasons, and all of the kids are sort of circling around because they don't know about this hole, and they're trying to protect themselves from mundane old things. And so we weave in and out of mundane. Mundane is murder investigation and love and regrets and all this other stuff. And there's it weaves in with strange disappearances and weirdness, like it seems like time shifting and all that sort of thing. And it's at times you're not really sure. Like for me, I was sometimes wondering, like, what I'm confused. Where is this show trying to lead us? And I was actually quite afraid, by the episode 6, like they weren't going to actually sort of resolve, what the show was actually supposed to be about. And so, I'm just thinking, oh, well, maybe it's just going to be, them trying to cut, square, make square the fact that, there's a dead body that wasn't dead long enough relative to when it was found. Or were they going to just, how are they just going to show them circling the wagons and trying to prevent, one or more of the family members from going to prison? But then it turns into this weird thing where Autumn becomes more kind of, I don't want to say unhinged, but she sort of becomes more convinced of some kind of higher purpose for herself and quasi-religious purpose for herself, and kind of recruits a person into her fold, and it's her and Royal are going at it. There's all of these things that sort of culminate in the dissolution of the Abbott family and Royal's obsession with sort of his duel, I guess you could say, with Autumn, and then the process reveals some pretty startling and interesting information about himself, namely the fact that he knows what that hole means because he's seen that hole before, and that in fact that entire bit of land or some of the land nearby isn't just it's not just regular old pasture land, but in fact has the potential for traveling through time, I suppose you can say, for whatever reason, has some weird mineral or something that, because reasons allows it to happen. And it's not just, him that just gets snared in, Autumn gets snared in it, but also the sons of the sons of the Tillersons, and also the sheriff's deputy who's, trying to, she's a queer native female sheriff, and trying to be sheriff, and not just because it landed in her lap, because she won the sheriff job, and she sort of finds herself also sort of cavorting through time, if you will, and seeing strange things. And the only downside to all this is that at the end of the season, it doesn't feel like a ton gets really. I mean, you find some things out. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it, ends on a cliffhanger with the expectation of a couple more seasons, and doesn't totally answer as many questions. It answers very few questions and leaves more. It leaves more for you to ask actually after the fact, which is a little frustrating. Because as much as I like this, it's kind of a slow moving thing. It's a slow burn, but it has a lot of interesting concepts in it. Very interesting the way it's constructed and laid out. I just wish I liked some of the characters more. I just don't give a crap about some, like the younger brother of the Abbotts. I don't really care about that. The older brother of the Tillersons, he's just a regular old guy, and he seems out of place in this whole storyline, especially if it's supposed to be like weird and sci-fi. So I think they could have maybe tightened some things up and also just answered some damn questions a little more. But overall, I did enjoy what I watched. I think Josh Brolin did a great job. I think Lily Taylor, she overacts too much in this, but Josh Brolin and Imogen Poots, they are at the center of everything that's going on, and they carry the weight of this show quite well, I think, and really makes me want to come back and see what's going on in the next season. So, I just overall, it's not perfect. I wouldn't even say it's great. I think it's quite good though, and it's worth your time. So, anyway, what did you guys think about this series? What did you guys think about what I had to say? Get down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or @supernotfunnys1 on Twitter, and we will chop it up. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks once again for joining me on this review. Come back again. I got plenty more things to review in the future. Until then, I've been Mo the Poupée, your resident fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.